What's going on, guys? It's Blade Show week. Ha! Okay, sorry. Whew, need to chill. Need to chill out. Anyway, Melissa Miller, aka Melissa Backwoods here. And yes, you heard it. It is Blade Show week, or the week of Blade Show. Yeah, whatever. I used to work for Blade Show. It is the world's largest knife show. I worked for the company for about 5.5 years. And I wanted to just make this video. It's going to be like a low, just kind of a chill talking video, not really highly edited. First thing I want to talk about, things that you should bring if you are going to Blade Show. Number one, bring cash. Sorry, I had all these hundreds for the first time in forever, and I just wanted to show them off. But bring cash. Some makers will offer a lower price if you bring cash. That's a little inside information. And also, you don't want to go wait in the ATM line, though there are ATMs at the venue. This is my Blade Show pack that I carry around. I actually love this thing. It's a 511 tactical pushback. But one of the things that I always bring to Blade Show, ooh, what the heck just dropped, is a hanky. Now this is a nice thing to bring. It's a polishing cloth because personally, when I handle knives of makers or get like my grimy fingerprints on them, I just like to be courteous and wipe it off. Yeah, this is maybe just a me thing, but yeah. That's one of the things I really like to bring, just to be a little more polite. Next up, bring some chapstick. If you're like me, you do a lot of talking at Blade Show. There's a lot of cool companies, a lot of cool people that share the same interest as you, and a lot of awesome makers and opportunities to meet huge names in the industry. So yeah, you don't want chapped lips when you're talking to them. But yeah, this is a good one to bring to Blade Show. No one wants to look at your chapped lips. Cord and a backup battery. For me, this is a must. I do a lot of filming with my phone, so it is really nice to have this, especially since there are limited outlets at the venue. Another thing I would highly recommend bringing, just in case, are Band-Aids in various sizes, because you might cut yourself. It happens a lot at Blade Show. Last year I didn't, but the year before I did. And it is always good to have Band-Aids, even though some tables actually have them at their table. And if you really want to be prepared, you can have super glue if you really think you're going to mess up handling one of the knives at Blade Show. My little Roaring Fire gear pack with all of my items in it. Anyways, pen, Sharpie, pencil, writing utensils, and a notepad are great to bring to Blade Show. I know I'm constantly like taking notes on knives that I want to check out later. I mean, you're handling so many cool knives. Sometimes I just like to write stuff down because I'm more likely to look back at it. Hand sanitizer. I am meeting a ton of people at Blade Show all the time, and these type of events, they are, whether you like to admit it or not, kind of like breeding grounds for getting sick. So bring some hand sanitizer, that way you can throw some on your hands before you eat or snack, which leads me into my next thing, is that bring snacks. The money or the food at the venue isn't the cheapest, especially the little concession stands. They're priced as all concession pricing would be. So I would recommend bringing some snacks to keep you going throughout the day. And I would also recommend bringing a collapsible water bottle. They're easy to travel with. There are water stations at Blade Show. Usually they have somebody sponsor water stations. So if you bring a nice collapsible water bottle, well, you can carry that around with you, keep it filled up, because you don't want to be spending, I don't know, it's like $3-4 at least for a bottle of water at the venue. Next, bring a comfortable backpack. You're going to be buying stuff, you're not going to be wanting to carry it around, or you could do like a nice tote bag. Whatever it is, just bring a bag that you can fit all of your knives in, all of your snacks, all of your whatever in, and that you can comfortably wear for all day. The show goes from like 10 to 5 p.m. and trust me, you're probably going to want to be there all day if you want to see even a fraction of the knives. Another Blade Show tip is that there is free Wi-Fi. Usually kind of bad reception in the Blade Show, but if you go to the front where they purchase tickets, there's usually a sign that shows what the Wi-Fi network is and what the password is. My next tip is to have a plan. Go to bladeshow.com, get the floor map, Find out where all of your favorite exhibitors are going to be. They have a full exhibitor list where you can type in the exhibitor's name, you can get their table number, and you can kind of see what room they're going to be in. Oh yeah, there are 2 showrooms at Blade Show, and they're both absolutely huge. So get your exhibitor's table number, get an idea where they are on the floor ahead of time. All this information's at bladeshow.com. I'm in there with a sort of a plan, especially if it's your first show, because it's going to be a bit overwhelming. That being said, they do have floor maps at the venue. So when you get in there, they do have tons of floor maps, so you will have a physical floor map there. Next important thing to know is that seating at the show is limited. There aren't chairs or tables within the show. So if you want to, get there a little bit early, scope out some resting areas, that might be important to do. Outside the show, there is a lower level that has tables and chairs so you can sit down and relax on those. And there's always people sitting along the hallway. But I think that's an important thing to note that, there's just seating is limited there. Another insider tip is go to the pit. So the pit, what is the pit, you might ask? The pit is like this giant after party. It happens Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. It happens at the Renaissance Waverly Hotel, which is in the same building connected directly to the hotel. If you ask anybody, that's an exhibitor, they're gonna know where the pit is. It is like this giant after party. There's hundreds, maybe even thousands of people inside the pit, and it's where all the people who work for the companies, all the really good knife makers, all the outdoor professionals, that's kind of like where everybody in the industry goes to hang out after the show. And it's also where the Blade Magazine Knife of the Year awards are held. They have this big screen. They show all the knife award winners. I think that one's going to be Saturday night. It's a really good time. If you have been to Blade Show and you have not visited the pit after party, man, you're missing out. You should do it at least one of the evenings. Another thing to take advantage of is the Blade Show classes. Now, you can purchase them on the Blade Show website. It's called Blade University. So if you're into knife making, there's a lot of cool classes that you can purchase. They're they're always taught by big names in the industry, people with a lot of experience and a lot of knife making legends. Another thing I cannot recommend enough is making sure to check out all of the demos on the Blade Show website, namely the Blade HQ Bali Song Flipping Championships. Super fun. This is at 12:45 p.m. on Saturday, and it's where some of the best Bali Song flippers come and they flip it out. Another great event that is happening at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday at Blade Show is the Blade Sports International Cutting Championships. Go to that. It is they're like knife athletes. So they run through an obstacle course, cutting all this stuff. They have ropes, there's water bottle slicing, and it's really fun. It's like a timed cutting competition. So another tip is go to that and watch it. Go cheer on the knife. I call them knifeletes. And it's just a really unique experience, and the only place you're going to see something like that. Another little tip I have is that if you plan to get there early, just know that the line is going to be long. If you want to get there Friday morning, that line stretches from the door entrance. That line stretches all the way, all through the halls. It wraps around the Cobb Galleria building. I always like to mention to people that because they're surprised the first time they come. They have no idea how long that line is going to be. So the doors open, I think, at 10. Or I don't know, I'm not sure, 10, 10:30 or 11. But by the time the doors open, the line starts to move. But it's great because the energy is really awesome. Everyone's pumped up, and it doesn't even matter when you're kind of waiting in line when everyone's got such high energy. There are literally people that camp out the night before the show, by the way. Another tip, and I've already mentioned this, but I'm gonna say it again, there are 2 showrooms. And even if you get a 3-day pass, it's gonna be impossible to see every knife. That's how big this show is. Just know that there are 2 rooms, and you want to make sure to visit both of them. Their tip is don't skip out on the little guys or the smaller tables. In the main exhibit hall, when you go there, there's all of the smaller tables with all of the custom knife makers in the front, and there's also a section like that in the smaller room. Man, go look at those knives. They're some of the best custom knife makers in the world that come to Blade Show. You will see some of the wildest handmade creations you've ever seen in your life. And I feel like I don't see as many people moving through the small custom maker tables. But if you do, you won't regret it. Another big tip is just wear comfortable shoes, wear a comfortable outfit. You're going to be walking a lot. You're going to put at least 10,000. If you're there all day, you're going to put over 10,000 steps in easily. It can get hot in the Cobb Galleria. It is Atlanta it is June in Atlanta. So make sure to bring clothes that you can possibly take a layer off if you get too warm. Another tip, if you're in the custom knife maker section, or even, I don't know, I always like to ask if I can handle a knife. I think it's just a very common courtesy. So before you pick up a knife, ask, hey, can I hold this, or is it okay if I hold this, especially if you're in the section where you're handling knives that are, several $100s, several $1,000s. And you'll know, like some companies will have tons of knives out, everyone's picking them up, there's fine, you don't need to ask them. But like the smaller tables with just the limited selection, more higher end knives, just make sure to ask. It's just nice. Okay, that's it. Honestly, there are 1,000 other tips and tricks I could go on about, but those are just some main ones that I wanted to talk about in my experience attending Blade Show and working for the show. So I hope that you found those useful. If you're a first-time attendee, well, congratulations, because you're going to have a ton of fun. It's going to be a great time. Soak it in and ask people questions. Take the time. People want to talk. This industry, there's a wealth of knowledge at Blade Show. So soak in the event and shake hands, meet new people, because everyone is there in the knife industry. I would love to see comments below about some other tips or tricks you guys have for Blade Show if you've attended before, because heck, I could make a ton of videos talking about this. So have a good one, guys. Thanks.